Hello, everybody. Welcome to Peaches and Power Bombs. I am your host, one of your hosts, Majestic Marie, and my co-host is here as well, Alora. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm good. How are y'all doing?
Doing great. And we have a very special guest with us today. We have Gary Joe from Honor the Elite, and we're just so excited to have you here with us. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, guys. I gotta say, like literally for like weeks, like the anticipation's been killing me. I gotta say, I've enjoyed your guys' stuff so much,
Thank
which
you.
is why I've been plugging you on Twitter and much as I can on here. But you guys do an awesome job, so it's an absolute honor to be a part of this.
I appreciate it. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes, very much so. We're honored as well. If we, no pun intended, I guess, or very much pun intended. But
I think so.
before we start talking wrestling and get into what everybody wants to talk about, we just kind of wanted to get to know you a little bit. What is Honor the Elite all about, and what do you guys do over there?
So, Honor the Elite pretty much is the what I like to call a positive platform for when everybody wants to know strictly AEW news. I do my very best to get some reports in there. Not only that, we also have a lot of fun with a lot of great fan interaction. Over pretty close to 16,000 followers and over 6,000 likes. So technically, right around 22,000 people that I'm very, very, very much appreciated for. Um, so I'm very stoked to actually build things up to bigger things going for Honor the Elite starting next month. Got an interview with Chris Van Fleet. Very excited for that. We
Wow.
also got some watch alongs, just like you guys have here on Peaches and Power Bombs. Um, Also, we will be going to extend our services to bigger things, such as live streams on Twitch, TikTok as well. Um, but you know what? That does not gotta stop me from having the Tony Khan mentality where it's gonna get much much as positive platforms as I can give the people that not only support AEW but support wrestling as a whole. So um, very very exciting things over there to say the least.
Wow, so I just have to know how in the world did you did it blow up like that? Like I'm guessing you just wanted to have a nice little area for yourself and for your friends and other people to just come together and have a good time talking about AEW and just, getting to swap stories and all that kind of stuff. And it just blew up and became, before you know it, you have 16,000 followers on Facebook and other places. And how did that come about? Like, did you just wake up one day and you're like, "Oh, well, okay." Or
So, true story. August 21st, 2020 was the launch date. It was originally called AEW Are You Elite? Um, so, during the pandemic, I was out of work, things were shutting down. I wanted people to, you know, come to a page where, we can rejoice some AEW discussions. Um, and how it expanded was actually how all these followers came about, I have no idea. Um, I've heard a lot of people say, "Hey, this guy brought me here. A good friend of mine recommended you." So that was cool.
Word of
But
mouth.
how the exactly word of mouth? Um, how the page really starting to grow? Ironically enough, this is where I feel like it all started. I shared a video of Aubrey Edwards doing a Stone Cold Stunner onto Austin Gunn. And then after I posted that, within like 2 weeks, I saw like all of a sudden like 2,000 new followers. I was like, whoa,
Wow.
that's crazy.
wow.
Um, and how I spiked it up with as many followers, I don't know where they come from, but I appreciate everybody beyond belief. It's so cool. Um, it's really exhausting. considering I'm the only one that runs the page.
Ooh.
Um, a lot of people do call me the Tony Khan on Facebook. Uh,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you're doing a great
sometimes,
job.
Yes.
And
so
being like, AEW hasn't even been around 5 years yet, and already they have completely changed the game, and they have rekindled Ring of Honor, and for you to have a popular fan page, about AEW, and I'll say Ring of Honor too. How does it feel for you, like it uh, being seeing that as far as pages go, people gravitate to you and say, hey, this guy's pretty cool, I like what he's posting, and that's just monumental. That was the word I was looking for. How does it feel to be one of the more popular pages, and AEW hasn't even been 5 years yet, considering everything?
it's really bittersweet, to be honest with you. You know, I do see other pages, and I feel I'm not, saying other pages are bad
Hmm.
because I mean they do an amazing job. But the admins, I feel like they let people say so much nasty remorse comments, and you know, as we all know, the internet wrestling community is just one of the tough places to
Hmm.
support a wrestling promotion such as AEW. Um, and I know I defend them left and right. I do get comment savvy for sure. I defend the den, so to speak. Um, but I've had so many people that comments on my post um, saying, we appreciate you for all you do, and then I feel like I involve them. I don't just involve 5 people. I don't involve 10. I include everybody. That's why every week I do shout outs to um, best example, my top followers of the week. I feel like I appreciate them for how they should feel appreciated, and I think that's where it brings so many people onto the page. Um, there's just so much negativity with AEW. I try to bring the positivity out of it. That's why I post something with Billy Starks today. Apparently being signed already with AEW, and
She's
my
not even out of
inbox.
high school yet, is she?
She is not. She
Wow.
turns 18 in July, so just right around the time where Nick Wayne is going to make his debut. So
I was about to
um,
say there was somebody else on the cusp like her.
yes, and it's a beautiful thing, like
Yeah.
That's
like
crazy.
they're turning 18 years old, and this is why I love Tony Khan. He wants to give that dream to a
Hmm.
wrestler from the indie scene and to accomplish a big goal, and that's what I admire about Tony. Um, I'm a big family guy, so to speak, and I'm very much of a people person. So it takes a lot of patience for what I do because how
Yeah.
much nasty messages I get, but a lot of positivity as well. Sometimes you got to brush off the negativity. Let's move on. It is what it is.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, obviously with that much of a following and with AEW just being a magnet sometimes for the nastiness from the IWC or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Um, you know, obviously I'm sure your page gets it. So how do you cope with the negativity? Do you just try to focus on the positive and just brush it off, or does it get you down any? Because I know sometimes we get a few negative comments too, and it can get me down a little bit, and then I just delete it and I'm good. But
To tell you the truth, Marie, I will say the negativity that I get. I mean, to be quite blunt with you guys, I mean, I've had death threats. I've
oh
had
my
people
goodness,
that would harass my followers. Um, some like the cool thing about for what I do, and it makes me feel it really warms my heart, is I have followers that reach out to me and say, "Hey, I just got bullied from somebody. I don't know who it is," and they show me the message. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." Um, and I try my very best to block it out. And sometimes I post things on the page, and then all of a sudden I see the positivity from everybody saying, "Oh, this page brings me to a great place" or something. So then it makes me boom. It's kind of like when you want to talk to your best friend or a family member that you can depend
Yeah.
on. That's why I
Yeah.
can depend on my followers um, to make me feel so much better.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna just say sometimes I just take their comments and just try to turn it into something humorous. Like a couple weeks ago when I had an inauguration because I had finally seen the Kingo in action. I was like, I'm a true wrestling fan now, everybody.
And
Yeah,
when you
that's.
message,
Go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. I will say, like Marie did message me, Laura, and she was feeling a little concerned how I would feel about her not getting familiar with Vikingo. I'm like, there's nothing to worry about. Hey, you're gonna be excited to see what he can do, and
Yeah.
he impressed you, and that's what matters.
Yeah,
Um,
he wasn't bad. I'm not a big I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a big flippy spot person. That's not usually the type of wrestling I like, so that's probably why I have never seen him. But he
mhm.
wasn't bad. He wasn't bad, and I can see why other people do like him a whole lot. He does have the coolest ring gear that I've ever seen. He had very strong Sokka from the Water Tribe Avatar Last Airbender vibes, so I'll give that shout out.
There we go.
The thing I was gonna say, learn just talking with you, get down, just talking to you, just these last few minutes, and then I'm just like thinking about our page in general too. Um, there is so much negativity, and I've had very negative experiences when it comes to wrestling fans too. So it, you know, it's so nice to see people, just coming together just to, talk about the thing they love. We can be critical, yes, but I this is something that I always look forward to because I have a great time every time because
Mhm.
we're just all talking. It's kind of like, how you got together with your friends back in the day watching WCW or WWE during the Monday Night Wars or whatever. You get with all your friends and y'all hang out. This is how I feel it is. And I just, even though it's kind of different now, it's actually really cool. I was gonna go somewhere with that and I just had a moment. But
Well,
I know
that's
what I was gonna
okay.
say. Um and one other thing too is if you when you and Marie, I know Gary's done it too. When you go to a wrestling show and people you never met before, they're like your friends now because
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, like when I go to Atlanta to usually, like when I go to Atlanta for SmackDown or Raw, I'll see the same people and it's like we don't know each other, we don't know each other's names, but we're like, "Hey, how you doing?" So that's positive too.
I always make friends with the person sitting next to me, especially at an AEW show, because I have to warn them. I'm like, okay, just so you know, when Eddie Kingston comes out, I'm going to go ballistic. Just ignore me, try to tune me out as much as you can. But I thought I give a fair warning. And they're like, "Oh no, we love him too. You just go over there and you melt down all you want." I'm like, "Okay."
The Mister and I are going to a show next month for the first time together, and I told him, I said, I swear to God, if Roman Reigns is there and he's talking about acknowledge me, I'm gonna scream so loud because you know from the pandemic to everything in my life going on, I'm gonna scream so loud, you're just gonna be like, I don't know her. But sir, you came in. I don't know her.
My husband won't go to a show with me, so. All right, let's get through some of these comments real quick before we just go ahead and dive right into AEW and talk about it. So, Christopher Casey, I'm guessing is your name. I'm sorry. He says hello. Or she.
Yes.
Yeah, he.
Christopher Casey, he shares my stuff all the time. Good to see him. Good to see you, Chris.
Well, welcome to the
Welcome to Peaches
show.
and Power Bombs.
Click a follow. Click a follow, Chris.
Yes.
And our friend Justin is here. He says, "Hey guys, looking forward to this episode." And my friend Timothy says, "Good evening." And
Hello.
he says, "Everyone loves Honor the Elite. Now scissor me, Gary Joe."
He says that every time.
Silly, silly, silly. Our friend Sugar Shane, a regular follower, he says, "How did your guest discover wrestling?" So, Gary?
Well, Shane, I love talking about this. It's actually one of my very beautiful stories how I discovered wrestling. So back when I was 8 years old, back in '96, mind you, it was the pay-per-view, the Great American Bash '96, and I remember, because I used to stay with my grandma all the time because my parents they would, travel for work and whatnot. So I would have to stay with my gram almost every day, right? So next thing you know, I'm seeing the pay per view, and I was sitting next to her. I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. Who is that?" And then all of a sudden, I kid you not, it was the Jackknife Power Bomb from Kevin Nash to Eric Bischoff. And I was thinking to myself at that time, like, "Wow, that's really cool." And so my grand used to spoil me from 8 o'clock to 10 at that time because Nitro wasn't 11 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, ooh. So my grand used to spoil me watching Nitro, and the timing could not be any more perfect. It was the start of the Monday Night Wars, um, because that's when you saw Hogan turn heel, the NWO was formed, Austin was red hot for WWF at the time. Um, it was awesome. Shane, because of my gram, um, God rest her soul, miss her every day, is the reason why I love professional wrestling. Maybe that's why I love AEW so much. People get the mentality of it gets that WCW feel.
It.
Mm-hmm.
I know quite a few people who have said that very same thing to me, that it gives them that old school WCW feel.
Yes, and I was a big WCW fan even through the excuse my language, but bullshit with Vince Russo. It was tough to grasp away from WCW. Um, I was there until the very end. I was still watching WWF at that time as well, but WCW was my number one promotion. So,
I understand that. That's what I grew up on too. Timothy says you do a great job with your page, and that since I've been on the page, it's always been positive, and I always enjoy. Sometimes these ladies make my day, even if I have a bad day. These ladies make me laugh. Aw,
Thank you.
aw.
support Peaches and Power Bombs, everyone. I'm serious. Like, to tell you the truth, like I've been following you guys for a while, and every time I see Marie digesting something in, or when Sarah has something good to say, like the positivity is awesome on here. So I definitely plan on sharing this live on my
Thank
page,
you.
Twitter, TikTok, and once Twitch gets uploaded on there as well. So
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Shane says, even though I kid Maria about Eddie Kingston and she loves to hit the fight me button, it's all good. Yeah, he says things just so I will hit the fight me button.
Oh yeah, it's a friendly banter on here.
Yes, yeah, we have a good time.
And occasionally Mina will throw her 2 cents in or whatever. So
Before we get into the show, I do want to make one comment. Unlike other pages, even AEW fan pages, I will say one thing about you. You never bash WWE, ever. And I want to commend you for that because a lot of people fall into that trap. Like, yeah, I prefer AEW, but you know what? This is all the things I don't can't stand about WWE, and I'm just going to list them all. And you never really do that, so
I
that's really
appreciate
great.
that. I appreciate that, Marie, because I mean, yeah, of course, without a doubt, they're all over around me. You don't even want to see my meet and greet photos that I have over there. Um, sure, my world evolves around the AEW bubble, but at the end of the day, a wrestling fan that supports it all, you know, regardless of what I think with WWE, you know what, they're the ones that um, makes wrestling very interesting as well in a very positive way. So there's no
Hmm.
reason to bash them.
No.
Again, I may defend AEW a lot when it comes to negativity from just strictly WWE fans, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna call out this person, call out that person. Like people wishing this on Vince McMahon. I'm like, the dude's only human, okay? I don't wish this and this on Vince McMahon. So, but okay.
It's still real to some people.
a little
Evidently.
a little too much. All right, so let's get in what everybody is here for. Let's talk about some wrestling, and we'll get Brock Lesnar to get us started, okay?
Let's do this!
Brock Lesnar.
Okay, we're going to start off with some exciting news that happened last week. The official, now he has been on the show because he was on Forbidden Door last year, maybe in different places here and there that I might be forgetting. But anyway, he made his official debut with AEW by coming and attacking Ricky Starks yesterday at the beginning, not yesterday, last week at the beginning of the show. And I want to get your take on what you think about Jay White choosing AEW over other places. And are you excited to see him? Were you a big fan of his in New Japan?
Let's go with Laura first. Actually, I would love to hear her opinion.
I am 100% down with a feud between Ricky Starks and Jay White. Ah! Oh, that was the first thing I said. And the mister was watching with me, and I was like, I freaking love Jay White. And he's like, I'm sitting here, right? I was like, it's not that I have a crush on him. I just love Jay White. This dude is just a total package. This is a huge opportunity for him to get get the what I call brand recognition in the United States. He was very successful in New Japan. He's just a total package, and I definitely didn't see his debut coming. I kind of been a little behind. I knew that he kind of had some. Ricky Starks had something going on with Juice Robinson, which Juice, I enjoy him too. But Jay White, like, that totally changes the game. He's the total package, like I said, and this is a great acquisition for AEW, and I think he made the right decision when it comes to the next step in his career.
That is perfectly said. My thoughts on it, if I can be honest with you guys, I remember a couple weeks ago. This is why I love Tony Khan. I feel like the teases were there all along because when Juice Robinson came out, when we see the Bullet Club logo, I think that was really planned by design. Um,
Yeah.
because AEW, what they do so good with is the teasers. Um, and then especially with the blade sound, all of us thought for sure that was going to be Jay White, and it
Yeah.
wasn't.
I was one of them. For like a half
and
a second, I was like, oh, but that's okay too. I like him. But,
for real, and I remember I was talking to a couple of my good friends that are like one of the biggest fans of the Bullet Club, and I kid you not, and I said to them, I was like, something's telling me, nothing against Juice Robinson, he doesn't have the name that he would have against Ricky Starks, because Ricky Starks is getting a whole new boost of a good push right now.
Right.
Oh,
Um,
he's just bubbling. It's bubbling over before he just goes straight to the top. I mean, it's there.
exactly, exactly. And I was thinking to myself, like, okay, if it's, I just was not feeling of a juice, but again, teasers were all over the wall, and then I said, it's got to be Jay White. It has to be Jay White. I don't think it's gonna work with Juice Robinson. And again, he's a good talent. Juice is, he really is. And when I saw the debut of Jay, I'm not gonna lie, I had chills. It was awesome. It was a great way to open Dynamite, and that's
Yes.
another thing that I love about Tony. A lot of people give him flack on his booking, which to me, I think 2023 has been an absolute killer year for Tony already. Um, and then all of a sudden, we see the graphic with Jay White being in AEW, um, which I'm sure you girls can confirm. Jay is going to be with AEW for 5 years. He did sign a long-term deal. Um, Now let's get this thing going. I think we're going to see a Bullet Club invasion because now we saw Phantasmo kicked out of Bullet Club in Japan. Things are really getting interesting and picking up, and this might be a little controversial for some. I think Adam Cole is going to be joining the group down the road. Mark my words.
Okay, that's an. Now, I'm not as familiar with Jay White and the Bullet Club in New Japan as everybody else. I just kind of got a little bit introduced to it and a little bit more last year with Forbidden Door. And then I'm sorry, I'm a huge Eddie Kingston fan. Where he goes, I go. So if I saw that he was going to be having matches or whatever, I would buy the pay-per-view just so I could see his match or whatever. And I got to see quite a few. His whole thing with Jay White from last fall all the way to February, phenomenal work by both of those men. That was a great story, a great feud. Um, I think it kind of started with that tag team match with Eddie and Okada versus Jay White and was it Juice? I think it was Juice. And
Yes.
so I've been, trying to familiar myself more with New Japan and the guys over there and the gals in Stardom and stuff. And actually got to feel the excitement when he made his debut because I knew who he was and it was um and you know what? This is great for Ricky Starks too because I was really worried that after Jericho, I was like, well, who's left for Ricky Starks? You know, who can step up to him and what they need to give him something. They need to keep him on TV because he is red hot right now. Please don't leave him off of TV like you did Wardlow last year. Please don't.
God, I feel so bad for Wardlow. Oh.
Yeah, we're
I'm
going
a
to talk
big
about
fan.
we're going to talk about that a little bit because we're honest here on Peaches and Power Bombs. Tony Khan doesn't do everything perfectly because you know what? No one on this planet is perfect, so it's not going to go exactly right all the time. But this is one of those things that he did do right. So I was really excited to see Jay White last week and a little storyline with Ricky Starks to start him off with. It'd be great. It'd be great. I was thinking, what if it eventually turned Ricky Starks and put him with them eventually? But he's such a red hot baby face. I don't know if I want to see that.
Yeah, and AEW's department with baby faces are kind of lacking a little bit.
Yes, big
And
time.
Ricky Starks really fits that bill, in my opinion.
I think so too.
Yeah, this is like me on the inside about Jay White.
That's perfect. That's awesome.
Oh, Justin says, I just shared this to my Boston Sports Group page. Maybe I can get a few more people to follow. Oh, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
Appreciate
guys
it.
Yeah,
so much.
Greatly appreciate it.
I am partnered with Forever Boston Sports, and the guy that was just commenting, he is the founder of Forever Boston Sports. So
Okay,
Justin's really
awesome.
good about shout outs. So thank you,
Thank you.
Justin.
There, here he is. Ray all day. Gary, my BFF, he knows Adam Cole is king.
It's like his ears were ringing as I said Adam Cole. Happens every time, Ray.
I know, right? It does.
Hang on. We got it right.
We made that just for him.
Yeah.
Timothy says Jay White and MJF are two best heels in wrestling right now. They're up there.
Tom Clark, I don't know if you knew him or not, Gary. That's exactly what he said. You know, MJF and Jay White are right there as far as heels go.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Shane says, do y'all think the Bullet Club gimmick is old? To me, Jay White doesn't need it. I don't think he needs
it either.
But I think AEW does. They need something.
I mean, one of the best factions in AEW clearly is the BCC. So another solid faction that you could bring in that everybody knows the name quite well is the Bullet Club. AEW's Bullet Club, where it's not scripted, oh my gosh, it could be one for the ages if booked right.
Yeah, you know, brand recognition. And I know a lot of people give them flack about viewership and things like that. That can get them over the million mark. I still think they produce great content either way, regardless of the ratings. But if that's something they're definitely wanting to aim for, I think that is a good way. You know, that's a step in the right direction. And like you said, Gary, you know, BCC is the top, like one of the top factions. They're about to do something with the Elite. They're in the midst of that right now, and I think that's awesome. I think you know, it's not a matter of if, it's when.
Yeah.
When it comes to them,
especially since they do Blood and Guts every year, it seems now. So I mean, it looks like that. You know what? We'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and go to this since we're talking about it. This is what they're building up towards: is the Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club for Blood and Guts this summer. That's where this is leading to. I like heel Bryan Danielson. He's so fun. He is so fun.
Yeah.
It shocked a lot of people, but it didn't really shock me. I kind of knew that that's where it was headed because, you know, he lost that Iron Man match to MJF. His back was against the wall. He went home, you know, wounded, you know, so he needs to fight back. And how does he do that? He's just going to join his brothers and just, you know, you turn your back on me. You know what? Let's take over AEW by storm, because being the nice guy is not doing it for me. So it's been a lot of fun to watch. This fits Jon Moxley anyway. So.
Right up his alley.
You know, like, this storyline is easily going to be a storyline that everyone's going to talk about for a while. One thing, again, that I absolutely love Tony, regardless of what people think with his booking, I love the fact it's slow paced. There's nothing to rush. Build the storyline to see what's going to happen. I'm going to make a bold prediction with this. I firmly believe something's going to happen with this to actually engage more interest with this. Something's telling me you're going to see Wheeler Yuta get kicked out. Now, that might be interesting to say, but I think I know why. I love Wheeler Yuta, but I feel like he's mostly synchronized right now with ROH. I think we're eventually going to see him specifically for ROH, possibly. Now, the reason why I think that's going to happen, So Don Callis, he's going to turn back on the Elite. He's known to be a heel manager. It does, like him being a babyface manager does not work for me.
Don Callis is
So
annoying anyway.
the leader that's going to happen with the BCC is Don Callis, and to remove Wheeler Yuta, the replacement. Love him, hate him.
And
It is
Wheeler
what it
Yuta
is.
just lost his title on Ring of Honor too. So
Exactly, Marie. So I think they're going to look at him. Okay, you're the weakest link. We don't want you here anymore.
That's a horrible
So
though. Wheeler you for Don Callis?
no. This is where the twist happens. The one that's going to replace Wheeler Yuta is not Don Callis. I
he's
think it's
just the
going to be
manager.
Well, yeah, I knew
exactly.
that, but still.
I think it's going to be CM Punk. And there you go. Because real life, like that one thing AEW does that really connects with their audience is they put realism so much into their storylines, and everybody talks about it.
Well,
CM Punk, I can easily think of a million reasons why there's no brainer where I think he's going to stay now because of FTR. Um, so I think that's what you should do. Um, but do I want Wheeler Yuta to be removed from the group? Honestly, no, because I love Wheeler Yuta. Um, I don't want him to be misplaced if that is something they would do. Unless they play like an injury storyline or something. I don't know. But that's what I'm actually expecting. So
I could actually see a bigger story with Wheeler. Speaking of injury angle, you can do like an injury angle, him getting kicked out of BCC, and then just have him come back. And you know, I just remember, you know, you remember when they were toughening him up to be a part of the BCC. Him and John Moxley had an amazing match for him to get accepted in there and stuff. I
I was
think
a
they
part
could
of that
really
show.
jealous because that was one of my favorite
19
matches of
minutes.
the year. Oh my god.
19 minutes.
And I really think I could see Wheeler Yuta like really taking it personal, you know, whether that happens, it might happen, may not, may happen next year, might happen a couple years from now. I don't know, but yeah, there's a I see like a little opening for that should they decide to follow that. Wheeler Yuta comes back and y'all made me and blah blah blah. Remember how you taught me and blah blah blah. You know where I'm getting at. You know, so I could see it becoming a little personal if they went that route.
It's interesting. I don't know. I guess it really depends on if CM Punk can play nice with everybody else.
Well, honestly, something tells me I think everything is getting a little bit better. Kenny Omega admitted that he was wrong.
Yeah.
He said that on a podcast a month ago. Um, and then, you're hearing Jake Cargill say positive things. You're hearing Mark Henry say positive things. Most recently, FTR, which,
Yes,
regardless, are best
obviously.
friends. I mean, CM Punk said something to Danhausen, for a get well present.
Yeah.
So something telling me I think everything's simple, calm, and collective. I mean, at least I can hope.
Yeah,
Um,
I think everybody just blew everything out of proportion and they just needed time to settle down, come together. Let's get through all of this. Let's talk it out and just let it go and let's move forward. I think I
Yeah.
think just, hot hot tempers just got the best of everybody and hopefully that they can get through all of that and
Here's the thing though. The main thing with Punk was that he was, he was putting down the company he worked for, like during the media scrum and stuff, and that's kind of not cool. That isn't cool. So it's kind of like, okay, yes, we would love to have you back, but can we trust you to, you know,
I think
promote the
one thing that,
company like you're supposed to.
trust me there, Laura, I really hated that much
Mhm.
as
I
anybody
hated it for him
else.
too. I
You
don't want to
know,
see his comeback go out like that. You know, it's just sad.
exactly.
I don't want it to become a Dark Side of the Ring season 8. You know,
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
CM
And
Punk is a hothead. He's very well known to be a hothead. He's a
right.
Scorpio. He don't take no shit from nobody. I commend him on that, but sometimes I think he goes a little overboard.
I think he got upset, and I think if you look at the reason why he got upset, I can understand why. I think he just got the misinformation of who was leaking that stuff or saying that stuff to the guys over at Wrestling Observer, and it wasn't who he thought it was. And so he
yeah,
just went after them without finding out if it was actually them or not, and it was just miscommunication. I understand why he was upset. I just don't think that that was the right time, the right place
Oh
to
no,
go
for
into
sure.
all of that. But, you know, if I was in his shoes, I wouldn't be too thrilled about all of that stuff either. But, you know, we're not going to get into all that. Let's talk about Willer Yuta for just a half a second. I'm going to shift to that. Um, I don't know. I like the idea of him getting kicked out of Blackpool Combat Club, but I don't because I think he's in a good place because he's really
yes.
young, right? He's very
Hmm.
Yes.
young and he still, I think, needs that guidance. So him being in there with Moxley and Danielson and Claudio, I think is really a great place for him.
They're
And
all
you've
ring
gotten to
generals in
see,
their own right too.
yeah, and he's, you know, he still has a long way to go, but just from where he was back when he was like with the best friends to where he is now, he's blossomed so much. You can
Hmm.
see a little bit more of his personality. And I think it's a great place for him. I wouldn't take him out of there, but you know, it would be interesting to see what they would do with that. Plus, like you said, there is Ring of Honor. It is a little bit of a smaller pond, and he could still learn and develop you know, whatever little kinks he's got left to figure out over there in that smaller setting, but you know, still being able to do what he does.
Yeah, see, I do agree with that, Maria. I really do, because, you know, I do this thing on my page called, Thoughts on That Wrestler, and then I pick one, and Wheeler Yuta was the most recent one. And I've seen a lot of comments from everybody saying that he gets, he gets the vibes of the young Randy Orton, um, part of Evolution, considering, Evolution, basically what Flair and Triple H did was build the stars of tomorrow with Randy Orton, and I think that's
Right.
what Moxley and Danielson is doing.
Yeah, and people like to bash a little bit on his mic skills and stuff, but if you think about it, back then with Randy, Randy was horrible too.
He really was.
He was not
Everybody's
very
got to
good.
start somewhere.
And it took him time to be able to actually be able to do that really well. Like he got the ring stuff just like this, and I'm going to say this about Randy Orton. He's probably the smoothest wrestler that I've ever seen in my life. The smoothest. And but he had to get the other things, the facial expressions, the storytelling, the mic skills, all of that stuff. It took him a lot longer to do. And now he's fantastic, and we're wishing all the best for Randy Orton, and we really hope that he'll be back
Yes.
soon. But I think Wheeler Yuta is just going to take time too.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. We have some comments. Our friend Alma is here, and she says, "Hello, how are you doing? I'm
Hi.
doing great." Oh no, not sinuses and asthma problems. That's not good.
Oh
Well, we hope
yeah,
you definitely get better.
That
yeah.
stuff.
It's coming. You know, we're under schizo weather right now in Georgia. It's freezing in the morning, and by afternoon, you're like,
Yeah, yeah. It was almost 80 here this
yes.
afternoon. Shane asked, "Do you all have any information on Miro with AEW?"
That I do. Um, so unfortunately, Shane, Miro just keeps on turning down Tony's creative ideas. Um, he can turn them down all he wants. He's with AEW until 2026. So I think he will eventually come back. I think just what Miro is doing is, when the storyline makes sense, I will come back. Um, I mean, I've been saying this for a while with Miro. I think what he could do is maybe the guy to take down, Orange Cassidy for the international title. Um, you know, I think when the time is right, Miro will come back. Most recently, he was on that CBS crime drama show. Um, so I think just patience with Miro, he will come back. I mean, they all come back. It's just whenever he wants to agree with Tony's creative ideas.
Interesting. And it would take something like that in order to take Orange Cassidy down. I've been saying it for weeks that dude's like Superman. He beats him tall, he beats him short, he beats him big, he beats him small, he beats him slow, he beats him fast. And I'm like, dude, Orange Cassidy, what are you made out of? Because you're beating everybody.
Orange is amazing. One of my favorite champions
Stop.
right now.
Yeah, I like Orange Cassidy too. The Mister says I don't, but I do.
I have a love-hate relationship with Orange Cassidy. I'm going to be honest. I really like him when I'm there in person, but sometimes when I'm watching him on TV, I'm like, can you care about something? Just a little bit of something, just a little.
How I became an Orange Cassidy fan actually was back in 2021 when I met him. And I remember I was standing beside him, ready to take the picture with him. Obviously, I asked him if he could sign my picture, and he's about to sign it, and he got out of character for a second. He removes his glasses. He's like, "Dude, I love your tattoo. I'm an Eagles fan as well." So that was really neat. That was
I
really
love
neat.
the personal moments, it's just that means so much more.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ray says the Elite is looking bad, but I think they will come back. Oh, for your FYI, Adam Cole is king and Orange is 24 pounds.
Ray.
He's so silly. Timothy says CM Punk joins the BCC. That's going to be a great storyline. And also, it would be great for AEW product. Do we have any information on the Young Bucks? Because if they're building towards blood and guts, and if they're legitimately hurt, are they going to be well in time for that match?
So Matt Jackson is out. If you want to get calculations in place, he has another 6.5, 7 weeks from his injury. I think so. I really do. Personally, I think they should save this for a later date, just because I'd rather Matt be healed 100%. Don't do any more risk taking. Because I care about the wrestler's well-being more than me being a fan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
How long did you say he was out for?
So it was reported originally 6 to 8 weeks. That was
Weeks,
like a
okay.
week and a half ago. So 2 months.
Okay. He would be back in time, but he doesn't need to jump right into a match like Blood and Guts, though. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, too, you have a multitude of people in that match, so the match he doesn't have to be entirely dependent on during that match, but given blood and guts, yeah, I could see your point too.
It's also a young buck, and he would not be happy just sitting there, just chilling
Yeah.
out either. He would be like, I want to climb up there and jump off of it. So
I want to jump off something. Come on.
Somebody would do a crazy spot like Sammy Guevara had last year, getting tossed off the cage from I think Eddie Kingston.
yeah,
So
yeah.
somebody will do a crazy spot. I don't know who it will be this year, but who knows?
Who knows? And what if he can't make it? Who would you put in his place?
That's a tough one. Hmm. Well, I mean, you would think, like, I mean, I would say somebody like Brandon Cutler because he's affiliated with the Elite, but I love
That wouldn't
Brandon
be
Cutler,
fun to
but
people.
no, I don't think that would be the realistic choice. I mean, he's got a match tomorrow, him and Nakazawa. What does that tell you? Um, that's a
You're
good
good.
question, Maria. I have no idea, but the commenters, the followers here on Peaches and Powerbomb, we would love to hear your opinions. Um,
Yes. Everybody
that's
knows what
tough.
I'm going to say because it actually fits, and I'm not just throwing that out there. Eddie Kingston would be a fair possibility because he has this thing with Claudio right now.
And it could create a little bit of tension too because him and Mox are like really good friends.
That is true.
I was so scared, Gary. You watch Supercard, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When John Moxley came out there with Wheeler Yuta, I was like, oh no. I
You
was
know,
so
I'm not gonna lie. I thought we were gonna see a swerve with Shibata. I really did. I thought he was gonna do something to Eddie. I was like, no, no, please, no. No, that did not happen. It really, it was a cool cliffhanger. Um,
Yeah. I
so,
thought for sure Mox was going to come out there and come after Eddie because he told him to leave Claudio alone. And I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
but that's what I love about Tony Khan is he doesn't do a lot of shenanigans with big matches. So especially for the world title. And I thought Eddie Kingston did really good. That match went over 20 minutes.
Yeah, it
So,
was really good. It was really good.
hmm
Okay, so we're going to go into the world title picture. This is what it seems like that they're building towards. It looks like it's going to be a fatal four-way at Double or Nothing between the four pillars of AEW. And this is so different. This is so different. I really like this. Now I'll go into a little bit more detail after, but Alora, if you want to give your thoughts on this.
Oh yeah, this is a great idea. These guys, obviously four pillars, they've been there since day one. I like the way they brought everybody together, and just for them being day ones, it already creates a story. And so yeah, that's pretty much what I. That's pretty much how I feel. Like I think it's gonna be definitely yeah, it's gonna be a banger for sure. Will we see MJF lose the championship there? I have no idea. But they're not four pillars for nothing. It's not lip service. I mean, they're all amazing in their own right. They're each one has their own body of work that speaks for themselves. So it'll be fun, and I'm excited. I'm excited for that, and I like the fact that they're doing it at Double or Nothing. One of their premiere, one of their. I won't say premiere. Let's say.
Well, it's assumed we don't have any official.
Oh, it's not official. Okay,
it's not official. We're just assuming that that's what they're building towards.
I got you. See, I told y'all behind.
That's okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's great. I mean, that's a hell of a main event. I'm down.
This match I'm very excited for. And I think no brainer. This should be the main event. Like literally should be the main event for Double or Nothing. I praise Tony Khan so much for him focusing on his stars, and a lot of people give AEW, especially Tony, so much negativity when he brings in former WWE stars But what does Tony do time and time again? He always focuses on his future talent, his
Mm-hmm.
talent that he brought in, that he signed for, and you know, I have met three out of those four pillars in real life. I've met Darby a few times. Such a sweet dude. Really nice guy. Jack Perry. I will never forget when I saw him last time. It was at the Minneapolis show, and I said, I said to him, this is when he was starting to show his inner beast side, not this soft little jungle Tarzan boy. And I said to him, I said, dude, I loved your promo last week. And he's like, well, Time Warner hates me. So again, he was out of character for that too. That was cool.
They
And
didn't
then
like
Sammy,
Jungle Man, huh?
no, they did not, I think. And as for Sammy, such a gifted talent. I love Sammy. And MJF, like Timothy said, one of the best heels in professional wrestling. Um, and I love this just because the main focal point is your originals. You
Yeah.
know, you're gonna highlight them. You're gonna bloom their career into bigger and better things. With this match, I I definitely see MJF winning this as well to solidify him as going forward as one of the best AW World Champions that we've seen in a while. I mean, I still see MJF holding this title for holding him kind of like in collateral, so to speak, because of his bidding war of 2024.
2024.
Yeah. I don't think MJF is going nowhere. I would be shocked.
Not now.
But no, exactly not now.
I think
Um,
everybody's too scared right now. They're just like, let's just wait and see what happens.
it's 7 months from now. There's a lot of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, this match is going to be something special. And as for AEW faithfuls, is what I like to call them. We're going to enjoy this match to say the least.
Yeah.
What do you think, Marie?
This is so different. Usually what you get, most of the time what you get is just a one-on-one thing with the title. Sometimes you might mix another person in there, or it doesn't happen very often. And most of the time the person who's coming up to challenge for the title is someone who's kind of already established. I don't mean to say that these three guys are not established. That's not what I mean. But they're just not that over larger than life character yet. They're working towards that. So I mean, because usually it's like someone like Bryan Danielson, larger than life, CM Punk, larger than life, Jon Moxley, larger than life, and I can go on. These guys are working towards that. They're not quite there. So it's like, okay, what's going to happen with this? We don't know. We have no idea the direction that it's going towards. We can kind of guess, but just watching Darby having to prove himself over here, and watching Jungle Boy Jack Perry having to prove himself over here, and Sammy Guevara, doing the same thing, and just like building towards going after MJF, and pushing MJF into that corner pretty much, and he's going to have to do something crazy in order to overcome all of this. But, like you said at the end, he's going to be like, I've beaten all of these people and no one's been able to take the title off of me. I went an hour with Bryan Danielson and I won, and I've beaten Jon Moxley, and the three other pillars tried to pull me down and they couldn't. I'm the only pillar standing. I am keeping this house up by myself. And, it'll be interesting to see who challenges that. I have my own personal biases on who I want that to be, and I don't have to go into that, but
Danhausen. That's who you're going
yeah,
for.
that's
Heck yeah.
That's it. That is the next dude. He is the face of AEW right there.
Oh, he's the best. I love him.
But yeah, I did not see this coming at all. Like, I was actually going, well, who in the world can challenge MJF now? I mean, I was just sitting there going, I've got nothing, people. I mean, what do y'all? I'm interested to seeing who's next because it's not time for this person and it's not time for that person. You know, Adam Cole still needs to get a few more matches underneath his belt before he's ready to get on with that and everything. And I was like, I don't know. And then when Jungle Boy came down there, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, he's got that win over Christian now, so he's a good one to come up. And then when Sammy's music hit, I was like, are they doing what I think they're doing? Are they doing what I think they're doing? And when Darby Allin's music hit, I went nuts. I was like, oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. So kudos to them for thinking outside the box. It's not easy to do in wrestling when everything's been done before.
Oh, I agree, and that's what I love about Tony is, he continues on to the next story. You know, um, sure he may not do the ongoing rematches like some companies do, but you know what? He turns into a beautiful story, and the one thing I loved about this when we knew this was going to turn into a Four Pillars match, besides MJF being on the mic, you had the other three plead their case, and I love that, because I keep saying sometimes, eventually down the road, AEW needs something like a performance center, like WWE has. Build that skill, because not all that.
Well, don't they have the Nightmare Factory, or that's not?
That's officially with Cody now. So.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I mean, yeah, they did have the Nightmare Factory. They have Dustin Rhodes' camp if they want to go there.
Okay.
But I think that's strictly for wrestling, not studying promos or anything.
I got you.
So.
Yeah, they're gonna need something eventually, especially if they keep signing 18-year-olds. And that's not a knack on her. I mean, she's just young, so.
Mm-hmm.
Shane says, Jungle Boy Jack Perry is the future of AEW. I would love to see later on in his career to turn heel and join with Sammy Guevara and start a new group. Interesting.
That is very interesting.
Sammy Guevara just has that face. He just has he was a face for a little while, a baby face, and I just could not believe him as a baby face just because he has a punchable face, and you're just like, that dude looks like a jerk. I'm sure he's lovely. I'm sure he's lovely, but it's like Austin Theory. I love him. I've met him several times. He is a sweetheart, but he has one of those faces.
Sammy in real life, yeah, you're right on the button memory. He's such a nice guy. Last time I saw him was in a year and a half ago, and I remember I said to him like, "Hey, can we do the middle finger because that's what you're known for?" Because he was gonna do the tongue thing, and then obviously he was okay with that. But before I got the picture with him, he's like, "But one thing, how about you hold the TNT title because he was champion at the time." And he's like, how about you hold the TNT title? Because you're the champion for the day, not me. And I was like, dude, you are awesome.
Yeah, Sammy G is really, he's really connected to his fans. So I can't hate on him too much because when we went to Dynamite where I met Marie, we met together, met each other in person at Dynamite on December of 2021. Alex, my nephew, he had posted on Instagram some of the videos that he took at the show, and Sammy G reached out to him and asked if he could use one of the clips for his vlog, and he did. It was really cool. I thought Alex was messing with me. I said, no, he didn't. He did. It was really cool, and you could hear Alex. Oh, there he goes. Yeah,
That's
so
That's
that
awesome.
was
cute.
really cool. I was like, dang, boy, you getting ahead of me.
Cute. Timothy says, wasn't that promo by Jungle Boy talking about MJF a couple weeks ago 5 stars? But my question is to everyone, hasn't Jungle Boy gotten better on his promos? Yeah, he
By a
has.
mile.
Significantly. He still has some ways to go, but who doesn't? So,
Because I'm an older adult, almost pushing 40, I did listen to that while I was washing dishes, and I'm like, holy crap.
yeah. Yeah, he came out of his little shell over there.
Mm,
And one thing about Jungle Boy, I think he's trying to compete with AJ Styles on best hair in wrestling.
yeah.
Oh, if I gotta pick one, I love AJ Styles so much. It's tough to really compare. I mean, if you like the soccer boy compared to Tarzan, I think I'm gonna give the slightest to Jungle Boy Caboose. I mean, he really looks like a Tarzan. Like he
Right.
reminds me of Bam Bam from Flintstones, a little bit. So, but yeah, I like I said, I mean, AJ Styles, he really lives up to his name. Gosh, I can't wait till he returns. He is
I
definitely
know.
phenomenal, one of the best.
Yep. I don't know if I can choose because both of them have such great hair. I wanted to ask him what kind of what kind of conditioner he uses, and my husband told me I was not allowed to. So I didn't.
What this?
It is what
Probably
it
would
is.
ask what that is, too. What's that?
Yeah, he probably just uses the 2-for-1. So,
Right.
I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this live on the air, but me trying to keep up with my beard every day, I mean, literally, I have a 5-in-1 conditioner and body wash that moisturizes the beard and all this other stuff like beard balm, pomade, even a beard straightener back in August. But power to the beards.
my husband had a really long one a couple
uh,
years ago before the pandemic, and he had to condition it and put beard butter and
Yeah.
brush it and everything. I was like, okay, you're committed. I'll give you that.
I'm learning that, too, because the mister has got his little beard going on.
It's funny. Elvis is in the house. He
oh,
says, acknowledge me.
I knew Elvis. Obviously, that's he wants me to acknowledge him. He's a part of a prediction group. Really good guy, but he wants me to always acknowledge him. Not tonight, Elvis. Never happened.
He shows up from time to time over here. Not often, but he will.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know what? Since he's not over here very much, I'll do it. I'll do it.
You there, sitting at home. Acknowledge me.
He'll be nice tonight. Gary's like, no.
Nope.
Don't
Not
be
for me.
nice to him.
Ah,
He says, fun fact today is Dustin Rhodes' 54th birthday. Well, happy
Aw,
birthday
happy
to him.
birthday.
yeah, I posted that. Let's see. Yeah, 6 hours ago.
Yeah, Dakota, his daughter just had a baby recently, too.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. It's
Oh,
awesome.
he's such a proud grandpa. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's cute. Shane says, do y'all think that Ring of Honor will be the NXT of AEW?
I do.
Yeah.
Tony's already said that he plans on eventually turning that into AEW's developmental.
Yeah. It'll take some time, and plus they want to build some, get people over there. So that's probably why they're still using people like Claudio and Eddie Kingston and, Dalton Castle and the Kingdom and all of them over there. And, but yeah. All right. So I'm going to shift it a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about AEW's weaknesses, or what I think are weaknesses. It is getting better, but it still has a long way to go. Their women's division needs a little bit of help, in in my opinion, but they're doing a really good job of trying to build up more. And I will say this, that they're trying to involve more women, even though they don't have a whole lot of time. They're trying to involve more women to give them something to do, like with this whole, I won't say invasion angle, but it kind of feels that way. The Outcasts versus the AEW originals. They've got Riho, they have Willow Nightingale, they have um, Britt Baker, they have Jamie Hayter, they have Soraya, they have Tony Storm, they have Ruby Soho. They've got a lot of different women involved in this story. It is getting better, and I would like to see. And then you have, you know, Taya Valkyrie going after Jade Cargill and potentially being her first major threat to her title reign. So they're getting better, but you know, it has been kind of lacking in a few areas over, you know, since their inception. But you know, I'm excited about the potential of the growth of their AEW women's division. But what do you guys think?
As a diehard AEW fan, I've said this for quite some time now. I love that this is actually one of the topics because, you know, I can't deny that it has its weak points. You know, it really does. Um, I like you said, Marie. You know, they have very limited time. You know, they only got technically 2 hours of live airtime, and then you got Rampage for an hour. Cool, they do put a women's match on there, but unfortunately, it feels like it's a filler. Unfortunately, because it's Jade just in squash matches. Um, I do agree with the this whole thing with the invasion thing with this Social Outcast against the originals. It's really piquing my interest because, like you said, it is highlighting more women on that roster. Um, as I love to call her, Stat Baby, Chris Statlander, please, for the love of God, come back. I miss her so much. And Tony is a really he remembers things like he's like the Albert Einstein of like remembrance. And I was actually checking out this video. The last time Chris Statlander got injured back in 2020, she came back in 2021 on April 12th. That's tomorrow.
It
April
is.
12th. And when like Tony is just he believes in that mindset for some reason and it's awesome. Um, but yeah, I really want this to peak to bigger heights. You know, they got the pieces. They got
Yeah.
so much good talent in that division. Use them, please, please, please.
Yes. And real quick, before I go to you, Laura,
Hmm.
I'll throw this out there. Britt Baker can't really do all that much right now because of her back injury. I mean, she's out there, but she's not being physical. She's not wrestling right now. You could take Chris Statlander and put her in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
Britt Baker gets better.
There's
So
hope. There's hope.
there's a place for her. Alora, what do you think?
I like the Outcasts. I like the fact that they actually have a faction going on that actually there's a purpose behind it. And you know, I like, and of course, with a faction like that, you're going to have others involved, and um, I think it's a great idea all around. You know, it gives these women a chance to showcase themselves. Um, and the good thing about AEW is, you know, like Gary said, they build slow, and it's not like you have a pay per view every month to promote. That you build quick. This could be something leading up to Double or Nothing where the women can get like a really good opportunity. Um, I think, and then of course the secondary feud with Taya and Jade. Yeah, I really, they really need a major threat for Jade, and I really thought it was going to be Athena last year, and it wasn't, unfortunately. So I'm thinking, okay, Taya might be that girl to defeat Jade, and that's like probably the top women's story in AEW, statistic wise, is Jade Cargill's undefeated streak, and she reminds me a lot of Trish because she's having to learn in front of a worldwide audience every week. And she consistently gets better. I mean, obviously she looks like she is a star. I mean, you look at her and you could tell.
Mhm.
So I think definitely when Jade loses that title, it'll be huge. And so yeah, so like you got those going on. I'm trying to think. And then you got the women in Ring of Honor too. You got Athena over there now. She's their
Mhm.
champion, I believe.
She is.
Okay. And so, I think we're definitely seeing more of the women. We're seeing a more concentrated story front for them, which is great. That was one of the issues that I had with AEW's women's division is, it felt like an afterthought. It was, not really planned, but and then you have like Britt Baker, who's definitely one of the pillars for the women's division. How she's progressed, and she does excellent work as a heel, and her and Jamie Hayter battling is gonna come. I just don't know when.
Yeah, Jamie Hayter has gotten over all by herself.
Yeah, and that's
Like
awesome.
it's unreal. It's unreal. It's really cool to see. And this idea just popped into my head while you two were talking. We were talking about a while ago with Bullet Combat Club and the Elite maybe moving up towards Blood and Guts. What if this is the first women's Blood and Guts match with the Outcasts versus the AEW Originals?
You know what's crazy? Honest to God, Marie, when I was posting something about this, when the Social Outcast started doing their thing with the originals, a lot of people on my page were thinking the same thing. You know,
Really?
have their own little war games. Um,
Yeah.
but that would be, I would not say no. Um, and obviously, Tony likes to show their women that they can be violent. Um,
Mhm.
and obviously, I'm a stickler on ratings with AEW because I can see how they're progressing. For like 3 weeks in a row now, AEW has, with the women's segments and matches, they are either the second or third highest rated segment on the show. Um,
Awesome.
so
Mhm. They've been
they
putting
do,
he's been putting them in better time slots too, because for a while they were stuck in that 9:30 segment, and that's not the
yes.
best segment in the world to be at. Somebody's got to do it, but it wasn't fair that the women were getting shoved into that every week, you know. But I think they were on at like what 8:15 last week, and I was like, "Yay!" So
I loved it. I loved it
it's
myself,
great.
trust me.
It's great. Yeah, give them a better time slot, give them a little bit more time and faith, and I think that I'm not the biggest deathmatch violent wrestling person, and I know that sounds really weird because my favorite growing up was Mick Foley and my favorite now is Eddie Kingston, so I know that sounds insane. But it's not my favorite type of wrestling, but you know, um I know it has a place. Like when you push your storyline to so much, okay, we have done absolutely everything we can think of to each other. It all boils down to this. This is the be all end all. We gotta just go until the other person's lifeless. Not really, but you know what I mean. So this is all we've got. We gotta just throw it all out and just be violent pretty much. So it has a place, And I think a blood and guts match for the girls. I think that's what they could be leading towards. It would be
I
really
mean,
interesting.
I
I
mean,
don't
the
know why I
headline
didn't
would
put
make
it.
sense.
I don't know why I didn't put it together before now. And I was like, oh wait a minute, that would be really cool. So
I
I'm
mean,
glad
the
that we
headline would
can.
make sense. Go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, Marie.
I'm sorry. I was just saying I'm glad that we can think that they're giving us the possibilities to be able to talk about it now. We're like thinking about, oh, the women can do this and that, and before it was like, oh, we have a pay-per-view match. Oh, hey, Britt Baker, you're the champion. Go have a match with Ty Conti for the title. But build, we don't need that. Just go. Just go out there. And we're like, wait a minute, why do they hate each other? I mean, there's nothing there. So now that we've gotten away from that and we're actually having something to sink our teeth into, love it.
Yeah, I like the way that sounds because, like, the headline of the match would make sense because they're very gutsy for being in that really bizarre structure, but yet, you know, they're putting all their blood and guts on the line for the fans, and
Hmm.
yeah, I think it would be really awesome, quite frankly.
It would be. Timothy says that Jamie Hayter is still the queen. And he says Queen Jamie Hayter has main evented Dynamite last year at Holiday Bash, which he was there. That's cool. We are Jamie Hayter fans here on Peaches and Power Bombs.
You know, haters gonna hate.
There we go.
Yeah. All right. Last topic for the night, and then we'll let you go. The last little thing that I think that they could work a little bit more on. Everybody for years has always said that WWE fancies their big men, but they don't but they kind of, the smaller you are, the worse off you're going to be. It kind of feels the opposite on AEW. I'm not going to lie. They do a lot of good things, but I think that they could use a little bit more work in this department. Miro's stuff is kind of his own fault, but he's not on TV. Wardlow, I don't know what they did with Wardlow. They were given Wardlow on a silver platter, and they still somehow messed that up.
He got the short end of the stick both times in major high profile matches. I just hate it for him because, I mean, you could tell the dude is just, I mean, star quality. Hello.
Yeah.
He has a good look. He can wrestle.
And why in the world did they cut his hair? Why did they do that to us? Alora, that was just wrong. It hurt our little hearts.
Apparently, he actually wanted to cut his hair for real, because of his dad passed, and he wanted to do
that.
something that could remember his. No, as a big Wardlow fan that I absolutely love since the very beginning, that I cried over because I got a photo with him. It just no. The big men booking, I won't disagree with it. There is some people out there that they got on the roster, like Will Hobbs, great, awesome, but you don't need to put him with QT Marshall, please.
No.
I'm sorry, no.
And he doesn't need to be, he needs to be a monster. He doesn't need to be part of those silly little QT. And I like QTV. I think it's an interesting, different concept, but Will Hobbs should not be on there. He should be out there eating people for breakfast.
I agree. So, yeah, I mean, I get it, because you want to look, you want to appeal your audience with that big, with that bigger than life person, kind of like Brian Cage, that just signed a new 3-year deal.
I saw that.
I want him to be in a bigger position. Hopefully he will now because he's affiliated with Swerve. Um, you know,
Okay.
so yeah,
Is he
I
still
don't know
on?
what. Hmm?
Is he still a trios champion on Ring of Honor as well, or
He is. Um,
okay?
so I don't know what they're doing with it. But yeah, I can definitely agree. They really need some big men to, really appeal the audience. And WWE, sorry, not WWE, but AEW just signed Mike Myseri, which was part of Triple H's regime in NXT for many years. Mike Myseri is one of the guys that brought in these big men for NXT. So maybe there could be light under the tunnel, you know, for AEW to improve on that department.
Because maybe he just doesn't know what to do with them. Like that's not his expertise.
I think it's, people think AEW, the ones that don't watch it passionately, thinks as well. It's just an indie darling show. That's why they're so small. And I really, basically, I don't have an answer. But again, Tony believes in that mindset of being an alternative. Maybe that's
Hmm.
what it is. I really don't know.
To me, it doesn't have the big elaborate production of WWE and all that kind of thing, but to me it feels bigger than an indie show because Ring of Honor feels like an indie show, no offense. And
No,
AEW
I'm taking.
feels completely different than that. And I like Ring of Honor, by the way. I bought Honor Club and I'm watching almost every week. So and I came for Eddie Kingston, but I stayed for the entire thing because it felt different and it was more wrestling oriented. And
Oh yeah, Ring of Honor has
Yes.
always had some good stuff.
mhm. I go to Ring of Honor when I want to watch just matches.
Mm-hmm.
I watch AEW and WWE when I want to watch my stories. So, not
That's a
that
good way
Ring
of
of
putting
Honor
it.
doesn't have stories, they do, but you all know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And real quick, before we let you go, what do you think about the new Ring of Honor and the direction that they're going in? Do you like it,
What do you think, Laura?
Gary?
Oh, oh, I thought we were gonna go to Laura. Um, one thing I absolutely love how they're doing it is they're keeping the roots of ROH. They're not changing it like WWE when they bought ECW, a whole complete mess where everything was just changed. Um, when Vince bought that, but the way Tony really likes to keep the ROH name, the ROH look, uh, everything. I think it's awesome. The matches every single week. To be honest, it's just out of this world. Um, we got one match that I'm excited for tomorrow, and that's Athena versus Ashley DM Boise. Um, DM Boise is one of the best independent talents right now in professional wrestling. So I think this is going to be a good match. Um, it just not only the matches, but the production feels like you're really there for a show that's just taped. It's just the energy that it brings every single week it really has not missed a beat, honestly. Um, I'm excited for the future ROH. I really am.
Yeah. Alora, do you have anything to add? I know you haven't been able to keep up much with it.
Um, yeah, I can echo what Gary said. I love the fact that Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor and he's willing to preserve it for what it really is. And because sometimes I could catch Ring of Honor on TV or something. Sometimes it's on YouTube, and there's really some gems on there. That's how I discovered Kyle O'Reilly. He is one of my top favorite wrestlers. Um, I discovered him on Ring of Honor. There were so many other people that I was looking at too that have done more since then. cheeseburger is like a guilty pleasure. That's one of Jericho's favorite wrestlers too. I love cheeseburger.
I like cheeseburger
Moose, he
too.
was somebody that caught my eye, and of course, that was how I got into when the Young Bucks and all them were going over there showcasing and all that. That's how I kind of got introduced to him. I got introduced to him on New Japan too, but yeah, I think Ring of Honor does have you can have them top quality stars there, for the name recognition and big opportunities. So and I like what they're doing. I like what they're doing, and I'm glad that Tony Khan, he was intent from the start what he wanted it to be, and we're seeing it through. It's going to take some time. You can't imagine it to just come just like that, but yeah, I think we're finally starting to see what his vision is, and I like it. So.
Yeah, and I wasn't too familiar with it beforehand because I didn't know about the a lot of the stuff when Ring of Honor first happened, how it got out to the people was like trading tapes or DVDs or whatever it was, and
showing our age.
I didn't know anything about that, so I had no idea about Ring of Honor until probably 10 years ago, to be honest. So I feel like I'm trying to catch up, but before it started, I was like, okay, well, what's the spirit of the company? What do they want to bring forth? What is their thing? Their whole thing is actually around honor, which is they do the handshake before and after. They call it the code of honor. Their pure championship, you have to do everything perfectly, like follow the rules in order to keep your title. You can't be a little stinker. And that's really interesting because, for a little while we had a heel, which was Wheeler Yuta, have that pure championship. So, and then before that, it was Daniel Garcia. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. You have a heel who has to obey the rules. That's cool. And they still do the 20 count. The old Ring of Honor did the 20 count on the outside of the ring and things like that. They're continuing with the tradition of Ring of Honor, and it's really cool. They focus more on the wrestling than really the drama, besides, here and there. And I'm falling in love with some of the original Ring of Honor talent. I really like Dalton Castle and the boys. They're out there, but they're interesting and they're a lot of fun to watch. And I'm glad that talents like Slim J have a place to be every week. I'm a big Slim J fan. He's like wrestling royalty here in Georgia because this is where he's from. He's from Gainesville, just like AJ Styles is. And I watched him on the indies here in Georgia for 7-8 years. So it's fun to see him on there and other people, and Eddie Kingston getting to challenge for the world title was a lot of fun too. I was very sad he lost.
I think that's what the benefits of ROH is, honestly, is, the people that you don't see every week on Dynamite or, Rampage, you want to believe there's actually a show that people can synchronize into watching. Nothing against Dark Elevation and Dark on Monday and Tuesday, but a lot of people tune out on that because it's highly predictable stuff.
Yeah.
And then with ROH, I've heard so much positive feedbacks, even from the people that criticize AEW. Because I can remember names clear as day, and I've been seeing people post like, "Wow, this show was great tonight. I love this match. I like that match," and and I think that's the purpose of what Tony is doing. He's involving more of the roster.
Right.
2 hours live television. It's a must drive Tony crazy. There's a new deal that I really expect Time Warner Discovery to extend. Their contract for Discovery is, I think, in July. I would be shocked if they don't add on like an extra half an hour for Dynamite. So, but yeah, I
Interesting.
just ROH is just so good right now.
It is. I'm really enjoying it. Timothy is asking, is Jamie Hayter and the Acclaimed the two most popular wrestlers in AEW in the past year? They're two of the most popular. Not exclusively them, but the Acclaimed are up there for sure.
Oh yeah, it's definitely in the conversation, I think.
Oh gosh, I think that's tough because everybody, like the AEW faithfuls, love everybody. Um,
Yeah.
so I think FTR is a pretty close first with the Acclaimed. Um, for the women's division, yeah, no brainer. Jamie has been red hot. More
Right.
popular than Britt, and I thought I would never see that.
I
Um,
know.
so kudos to Jamie, and I'm telling you now, Marie, you were talking about that one topic for the women's division. What could you give it to actually get people a little intrigued to spark it up more than a potential blood and guts match? I highly am going to put a big opinion on this. This will be one of the main events that you're going to see when they go to London. You're going to see Jamie Hayter versus Saraya for the women's title.
Oh God, yeah,
Um,
Yes.
so
huge.
I think that's what they're going to do. I would do that. I would be shocked if Jamie does not have a match for that UK show. I mean, I am so damn excited for that. Um,
That's going to
I
be
don't think that's going to
exciting.
be a pay per view.
That was a big thing for AEW too. I'm glad for them.
Yes.
And
And
I
I
know the
really
UK
think
fans are like over the moon.
I think that's a good indication about another person we were talking about earlier too, is CM Punk. I don't think that they would think that they could sell that many tickets if they didn't have somebody in their back pocket like a CM Punk or someone like that ready to go.
TK is not stupid. He's a big numbers guy. I mean, he's, again, like I said earlier, he's like the Albert Einstein of wrestling. Like he knows something's like he's gonna plan this to be one of the biggest shows that we will see maybe in this decade. I'm hoping, and
Yeah.
then that will actually get the negativity out of the people's system with AEW. Like, okay, I enjoyed the show. They really intrigued me. Now I want to see what's next. Um,
hmm
but I
It's
can tell you, if they're going to get close to 90,000, I'm hoping they already have 25,000 tickets that people already signed up for already without a card being announced. It's incredible.
that's
Um,
crazy.
they get 2.8 million viewers in the UK on average every week, and it passes Monday Night Raw over a million viewers on average, and that's
That's
amazing.
good.
So dang well people in the UK are so hungry, um, and for what I understand, girls, I don't think this is going to be on pay per view either. Um, the reason why I say that, because Adam Cole said something like Time Warner's 100-year anniversary and the Wembley Stadium's 100-year anniversary. Something's telling me this is going to be on TNT or TBS.
And
Personally, I
they
hope it's a pay
said,
per view.
well, they said that, oh, and don't forget that All Out is the next week. Would they really ask people to spend $100 within 7 days of each other like that? I don't see them doing that.
Nothing's official with All Out. I think it's just that's the last thing Bowen's heard. Well, hey, we will
Okay.
do All Out. I don't, me personally, if they're going to do back to back pay per views within 7 days, that's very risky on
That
AEW.
they
Yeah, it
shouldn't
really
do that.
is.
They shouldn't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money
100
you're
plus
asking someone.
dollars.
Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah.
Alora, we went almost 2 hours without playing any Eddie Kingston clips. I don't know if this is Peaches and Power Bombs or not. It feels so weird. No one said anything to call for the fight me button. I'm almost threatened. I'm almost tempted to just play it for the sake of playing.
Can if you want.
You know what? Somebody somewhere doesn't like Eddie Kingston.
Fight me! Fight me! Fight me! Fight me! Fight me! Don't fight me!
That's
They're-
awesome.
Because they were behaving themselves.
I'm being a good boy. You know?
2 for 1.
He's such a great guy.
Isn't
remember I
he?
remember I went to the Minneapolis show, and Maria, I don't know if you've been following the page since last August, but there was this kid. His name is Alan. I show my support to him all the time. Mind you, the kid is only 10 years old, and he was talking about cool things about Eddie Kingston, and he was actually wearing Eddie Kingston's shirt where I had the gas can and everything.
Yes.
And so I remember, obviously, I met Eddie that same day, and the little boy, Alan, mind you, he's in a wheelchair because he has really bad legs.
Aw.
We love you, Alan. Just saying that now. So, anyway, when he went to meet Eddie Kingston, his face was red because he's so excited. Eddie just literally wrapped his arm around him, like trying to pull him in for a hug. And it's just, like I said, Eddie is just awesome. I mean, the guy was wearing Velcro shoes and pajamas for a meet and greet. That's what I love about Eddie, too. He doesn't give a damn.
He's
Like, hey, I'm
he's
just Eddie
Eddie.
Kingston.
He's 100% Eddie, and that's enough for anybody.
Yeah. Such a good dude.
Yeah. Alora, it's your turn. She's like, it's my turn to meet him.
Oh yeah. Yes, I'm ready to meet him. He's definitely an inspiration to me. So
Yeah. Well, I think we should call it a night. This has been great, though. It's been a lot of fun.
yes, we enjoyed having you, Gary. And for those that don't know, if you want, let them tell them where they can find you and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. You can certainly find me on Facebook. Just type in the name, Honor the Elite. Can't miss the page. It's me fist bumping Darby Allin for the main profile picture. And again, I'm very excited to announce here on Peaches of Power Bombs, Honor the Elite is going to expand to bigger things, going to Twitch lives, TikTok lives as well. That will be starting on, I'm thinking, the first week of May. Very excited for that. And one thing that I would absolutely love to say here on Peaches and Power Bombs, I've been waiting so much to announce this, and with these two gals allowing me to be on here, I figured this was the appropriate time to announce the announcement that I was going to say for Honor of the Elite. But just like everybody that wants to talk about wrestling and rejoice and, feel the excitement together as, great podcasters and such. With that said, Honor the Elite is going to get officially a podcast starting in June. So excited for that. A lot of people has requested it. Thought I would never do it. But I hope I don't really exhaust myself too much. I mean, on average, I probably block 80, 90 people a day, so that's been keeping me busy. Moderating the page makes me tired beyond belief.
I'm sure.
But again, I have that Tony Khan mentality where I overdo it and I make myself too tired. But it's worth it for not only AEW fans but wrestling fans as a whole. But definitely check out Honor of the Elite. I promise you, I won't disappoint you.
Well, we're excited about your new podcast.
Yeah! 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 Yeah!
Yeah.
I love LA Knight so much. He's awesome.
Me too. He's so fun. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us here on Peaches and Power Bombs. Thank you, Gary, for coming. We had a blast talking about
Yes.
AEW. You know, we're big fans over here as well. And open invitation to come back anytime you like. And we are excited about the new things that are happening over on Honor the Elite. You're doing a great job over there. So congratulations on all your success. Guys, go over to Facebook and follow him over there and all of the other social media platforms. And I'll be here tomorrow with another Real Wrestling Community Tailgate Party to preview AEW Dynamite for tomorrow. So if you love AEW, this is the place to be. And we got some interviews and stuff coming up in the next couple weeks, next month or two, and we're excited about that. So stay tuned to Peaches and Power Bombs on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, all the places. So we're gonna say good night, and y'all have a good evening. Bye. Good night, sweet peach. It's time to go. Good night.